Your Holiness, you have no idea how much it means to all of us today to have you with us. We know that you have commitments in other parts of Belgium here, but you made sure that members of the Tibet Support Group coming all over the world. We are now getting into 27th year of Tibet Support Group. And we sustained how difficult it is inside, how difficult it is for our lives too, in our work. It's not easy. Like Sikyong Lobsa Sangye said, this is mostly voluntary work. You have to volunteer your time, your commitment. It's not easy. But one of the things that kept us, like the bee honey, where the bee goes where the honey is, inspiration is someone that kept us two things. One is you, Your Holiness, and one, our inspiration, is Tibetan people inside. Therefore, without going into what you do, not only for Tibetan people, but also especially for the promotion of peace, compassion, interreligious. And I think that you are the only prominent religious leaders in the world who actively promotes secular ethics, which is something that at this age of religious conflicts, more than ever needed. And Your Holiness, I can only speak here on behalf of all of us that we are so grateful, immensely inspired, and we look forward to hear you. Thank you.
I always talk completely informal way. Another human being talk, another human being. Different name or different position or different religion. That's something secondary level of, importance. So importance is we are same human being. Firstly, our human brothers, sisters, and especially who really engage about the Tibetan problem. Tibetan problem, I consider not just political or some other thing. I'm Tibetan. Therefore, I'm one of the 7 billion human beings. Now, we humanity, looking previous century, 20th century, I think a lot of killing, a lot of violence. Because, you see, concerned people believe use force is the ultimate method to solve problem, gain oneself, right? One's own interest. I think that very thinking is outdated. Now today's world, everything interconnected, interdependent. And I will not go detail due to many new factors. Now time come, we have to think as a one human community, 7 billion human beings. Then certainly most of man-made problem, including violence, killing, can reduce. So those people who showing genuine concern of Tibet, I don't think it's not only the 6 million human beings sort of right or interest. I think many of you, really feel that the essence of Tibetan Buddhist culture culture of peace, culture of non-violence, culture of compassion. That we need. Whole world need that. So I always consider, firstly, you see, I'm human being. As a human being, I believe entire 7 billion human beings, each one have the responsibility to think, to make effort to bring compassionate world. We will not achieve next year or next decade. But we have to work, we have to start our effort now. Then I think within this century, our world could be more peaceful, more compassionate. Then also now, recent years, one occasion, our meeting with scientists, they mentioned through their investigation and experiment, basic human nature is more compassionate. And obviously, we are a social animal. We come from our mother. 7 billion human beings, including those troublemakers, also come from their mother. They received immense affection from their mother. I think at that time, if mother, knows her child eventually become a troublemaker, then I think mother may abandon. But every sort of mother, really, they take tremendous sort of care with affection. And then many of my friends, now their age also, late 70s and 80s like that. So many of my friends, when we met, oh, your face, not much change. So then some cases, my friend asked, what's your secret? They said, to keep your face more younger. Then sometimes I told them, oh, that's my secret. I don't want to share. But then actually, there's nothing except, I think, peace of mind. No matter what sort of troubled world, troubled Tibet. But whatever way I can do, I do. Then emotionally, as 8th century, one great Nalendra master, express, if the tragedy can overcome, then no need worry. Work hard, try to overcome. If the tragedy, no way to overcome, then no use worry. I think that's a very realistic sort of advice. So I practice that. So my mind, quite peaceful, quite calm. So when I heard the basic human nature is more compassionate, then I really convinced, if we make effort, mainly through education, not through prayer. I am Buddhist. In my daily practice, certainly I pray. But I think over 2,000 to 3,000 years, we human beings always pray. But world becoming more trouble. So now, a time comes, we have to work. We have to make effort. With sort of conviction, 7 billion human beings' future depend on human beings' own thinking or action. Everyone wants happy life. Individual's happy life entirely depends on the rest of the 7 billion human beings. So we have to think about the well-being of 7 billion human beings. So my number one commitment is try to promote a sense of oneness of human being. And different nationality, different religion, different races, these are secondary level. Fundamental level, we are same. So my number one commitment, promotion of sense of oneness of humanity. Second, I am Buddhist monk. Nowadays, the religion itself now causing more division and including killing. Unthinkable. Really, a human being killing another human being. Unthinkable. And worst, even use religious faith. So then, on the other hand, can we live with different religious faith? Certainly, yes. Look at India. Over 2,000 years. Beside homegrown different religious tradition, all major world religious tradition come to or establish in India. Occasionally some problem here and there. That's understandable. I usually say telling my Indian friend, over billion population, you are not God or goddess. You are a human being. So among over billion human beings, some mischievous people must be there. So this is understandable. But overall, I think India is, truly example. Different religious tradition can live side by side. And mutual respect, mutual learning. So I fully committed to promote religious harmony. And then, regarding different religious tradition, I usually used to make 3 aspects. Number one, religion. That is practice of love, tolerance, forgiveness, self-discipline, contentment. All major religious tradition is carrying same teaching, whether Muslim or Islam or Hindus or Christianity, Judaism, and Zoroastrian, and all those major religious and different Hindus, all major religious tradition, carry same message. And for that practice, major religious tradition, develop different concept with different philosophical views, all aiming same goal, bring conviction about practice of love, forgiveness, tolerance, these things. So because there are people, with different mental disposition, so we need different way of approach, different philosophical views, different different concept. So, in the different different religious tradition, because those different traditions develop. I think some within India, and India also there are differences. I think human mental thinking. The different mental thinking comes because of environment, because of the lifestyle, and including climate. So therefore, you see, different philosophical views is necessary because of different mental disposition. But ultimately, same message, same purpose. So, good. Even within Buddhism, Sotantik, no, Vivashek, Sotantik, Chitta Mantra, Madhyamika, all follow of Buddha. But different views, different philosophical views. So, it's obviously, we need several, I think what is it there, several millions of different people who have sort of faith, who want to practice compassion. You see, you need different way of approach, different philosophical views. Okay. That's differences of method, not differences of the goal or real sort of practice, like that. So it is possible. So now today, in Arab area, Syria, Iraq, Libya, within same Muslim, who carry their practice, same Quran, same concept of creator of Allah, but killing each other. Unthinkable. We have to try to reach out, to reach out. Since in India, Sunni and Shia, no problem. Recently I was in Ladakh, very close link. So, that's my number 2 commitment, promotion of religious harmony. So as my friend, as a supporter of this Tibetan problem, please think these two as my responsibility. Whatever way you can make some contribution, please make some effort. Then third, I'm Tibetan. And most important, I think Tibetan people trust me. And over 60 years, I carry the real responsibility during difficult period. Since my childhood, I convinced democratic system is the best system. So, as soon as I sort of take the responsibility, I think in 1951, around 52 or 53, I set up reform committee, try to carry some reform, but not very successful because of the political situation. Then 59, after we came to India, within our own establishment, we at once start the work for democratization. Then 2001, we already achieved elected political leadership. Then my position is semi-retired position. All major decisions handled by elected political leadership. Then 2011, I totally sort of retired. Not only myself retired, but also almost 4-century-old tradition. Since 5th Dalai Lama institution automatically become head of both temple and spirituality. Now that voluntarily, happily, proudly ended. So now Rasa Singhala, now second term now, right? Second term. During our election, you see, we also copy some sort of competition. Our former speaker also here. When I returned from America from medication, then when I met at the Kangra airport, both of them, you see me. And then I jokingly telling them, how much you are boxing? So that also held a sign. You see, like that. So in any way, I think we are quite successfully achieved democratic sort of practice. Like that. So now, since then, firstly, since 2001, secondly, 2011, now I totally engage the other two. Then Tibet issue is concerned, I fully committed preservation of Tibetan culture, including Tibetan language. It is quite clear among different sort of world philosophical views, Nalanda masters, you see, I think, because they intensively use human logic, reasons. I think I may I may mention here, although may not be relevant, Buddha stated, or my follower, monks, scholars, should not accept my teaching out of faith, out of devotion, but rather thorough investigation and experiment. So I follow that. So therefore, some Nalanda masters actually rejected some of Buddha's own statement. Reason, if we accept this Buddha statement, it goes against the reason. So we should reject that. I think I respect all religions. Really, I admire all those major religious traditions. It's immense sort of serving to humanity in the past 2,000 years. And present, I think several millions of people get inspiration from these different religious traditions. In the future also, will serve. So really, sufficient reason to respect, to admire. But then philosophical viewpoint, as I mentioned earlier, there are differences. And particularly this Buddhist, particularly the Nalanda tradition. So we very much emphasis about reasoning like that. So therefore, over 30 years, I have many close friends, scientists, who have not much interest about religion. But when we discuss Buddhist philosophical views, and particularly the science of mind, the ancient India, I think, highly developed about the different kind of emotion and how to tackle these different emotions. So that not considered as a part of religion, part of Buddhism, but should take this as an academic subject. I usually call hygiene of physical, we actually study. Similarly, hygiene of emotion, it should be part of our education. Today, many problems, 7 million human beings, nobody wants to create trouble. But many of them, you see, created this trouble. So trouble starts from here, emotion. Too much suspicion, distrust, too much self-centered attitude, and then anger, then violence comes. So violence, you see, will not go away. Just pray to Jesus Christ, to Buddha, to Muhammad, to Allah. Sometimes I half joke. I'm telling, you see, people, we Buddhists pray to Buddha, please bring peace. Then Muslim pray to Allah, bring peace. And Christian pray to Trinity or Jesus Christ, please bring peace. I think these spiritual leaders may tell us who created violence. Not God, not Buddha, but you, human being. So it is your responsibility to reduce violence and through that way bring peace. So therefore, now, you see, we have to work. So therefore, you see, the psychological sort of system, that is something very important. Now, over 30 years, 30 or 40 years, I say, out of sort of close contact with scholars or spiritual practitioners, I notice in Nalanda tradition, I think really some wonderful information and a wonderful method to bring inner peace, to reduce anger, hatred, like that. So when anger comes, very much related with fear, suspicion, distrust. The opposite, that opposition way, opposite sort of force of that is love, compassion. Compassion, not biased. Compassion mixed with attachment is not genuine compassion. That kind of compassion also comes with suspicion, hatred. But genuine compassion, that through training, use our human intelligence. Through that way, we can change our mind. So this, as an academic subject, should consider academic subject. So through education, you see, we should include this. We already committed, you see, making some drafting. Usually I call secular ethics, but some people, even within India, India's constitution very much based on secular, but among Indian scholars, some told me the meaning of secular is not very clear. So they suggest to me better to use another word, so universal value or certain sort of moral ethics like that. So say, regarding Tibetan sort of knowledge about human mind, about human emotion, and changing our emotion not through prayer, not through faith, but through reasoning. So this, I feel, something very relevant to today's world. So therefore, the Tibetan Buddhist tradition, Nalanda tradition, is really worthwhile to preserve. And with that, Tibetan culture, usually I describe culture of peace, culture of non-violence, culture of compassion. That's really worthwhile to preserve, irrespective of the believer or non-believer, whether Buddhist or non-Buddhist. So now here, many of our friends who really feel very sort of heavy-hearted about Tibetan issue. I really very much appreciate the Tibetan issue, not just political matter or some other things. These are also important, but I feel the preservation of Tibetan rich cultural heritage, which is relevant 21st century, in order to bring more peaceful, more compassionate world, this Tibetan knowledge is something very relevant. And then environment, Tibetan environment. One Chinese ecologist, he wrote an article, it mentioned effect to global warming from Tibetan plateau is as much as North Pole and South Pole. So he described Tibetan plateau is third pole. So like that, you see the sort of serious sort of the preservation of Tibetan plateau is not only interest for 6 million Tibetan people, but also directly millions of Chinese brothers sisters in China. and in India. Then, whole global level, the global warming, some relevant there. So therefore, Tibetan ecology is something very, very important. So since I retired from political sort of, because of the responsibility, I totally committed to this preservation of Tibetan culture, Tibetan Buddhist, rich Buddhist sort of knowledge and environment. So, thank you. So in order to support these things, firstly, our friend, I think, should study more. Should have more knowledge about, you see, the psychology, science of mind, and different method to tackle these destructive emotions. Okay. While you yourself, you see some practice, knowledge, fuller knowledge, and practice, then you gain some experience or worthwhile to support preservation of Tibetan, this knowledge, isn't it? Like that. So then, many of you see, through several decades and several years, you're really showing a genuine interest and sympathy about Tibet. So on behalf of Tibetan people, 6 million Tibetan people, I want to thank you. And then here, many Chinese brothers, sisters. Some of you I know, we are quite familiar, including who wear black glass. And then some, you see, judging face, you see, looks as Chinese. So I very much appreciate. After all, you see, this, whether Chinese government admit or not, that is a problem. That is no good for Tibetan as well as Chinese brothers, sisters, or even Chinese, the country as a whole, Zhonghua Renmin Gonghuo. This problem must solve. So, the support from Chinese brothers, sisters, already I think there are millions of Chinese really showing genuine interest about Tibetan Buddhist, rich Buddhist tradition, Nalanda tradition. About 400 million Chinese Buddhists, many of them really showing. And the last several years, I met a number of Chinese who really showing genuine sort of sympathy and genuine concern about the Tibetan situation. So many of them wholeheartedly support about our midwife approach and very critical, their own government policy. So, our Chinese brothers, sisters, you have, I think, very significant sort of the opportunity, you see, to tell your own. I think the government level, sometimes you see, as a political leader stated, you see, there are, you see, clear sign. Some leaders, they are more realistic thinking. That some officials among the establishment still follow more hardline policy. So they themselves actually more confused. I think here among our supporters also sometimes little confusion how to best way to help Tibet. So similarly among the Chinese leaders also there are clear signs, some confused how to sort of deal with Tibetan problem. But I want to tell you, we believe right from the beginning, no matter how difficult it is, we believe truth. I usually describe our struggle is something like struggle between power of gun and power of truth. So For immediate, the power of gun is much more powerful. Long run, power of truth is much stronger. So we believe that with that sort of belief, with that principle, we can carry all work transparently, openly. Whereas speaking, always wrong information, distorted information, and propaganda like that. So that's actually sign of a weakness, not signs of strength. Our side, so we believe truth. We always follow non-violent way. And the very basis of our sort of middle approach is not one-sided victory, one-sided defeat, not that. Something benefit to both. People's Republic of China is a huge country. You see, they are sort of officially, they very much stress importance of unity, stability. Unity, stability must come from heart, not just a physical level, something, yes, 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 yes. Not that way. No. So in all, the real sort of harmony, stability, very much related with trust. So their policy, present policy, brings more fear. So fears and trust cannot go together. Very clear. So please, our Han brothers, sisters, please, share with more Chinese intellectuals, like Liu Xiaobo, of course now, difficult position, but you see, many are supporters. So please, try to share, these intellectuals, scholars. And then people, always remain. Government, although communist totalitarian government, sometimes remain a little bit longer. But after all, not permanent. So people remain permanently. So our sort of contact with Chinese people, mainly through Chinese intellectuals, like that, is something very important. So I want to share with you. And then, that's how I feel. I think now, okay, that's all. Thank you.
Gentlemen, it's my privilege to have been asked to propose a vote of thanks on this occasion. I, on behalf of Les Amis du Tibet, Friends of Tibet, Belgium, wish to extend a very hearty vote of thanks to all speakers for gracing us this morning and sharing with us their findings and opinions today. Finally, I would like to take this opportunity to place on record our hearty thanks to the entire organizing team. And lastly, thanks to all of you for have been coming here in Belgium, sometimes from so far, and even after the terrorist attack Belgium suffered a few months back. And so I think if we want to attend Kalachakra soon in front of Potala Palace, we have to work now all together. Thank you.
May I request everyone to remain seated? His Holiness will move to that side, so please just sit where you are. Thank you.
No?